These two guys have Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on SKOR North and SKORNorth.com.
It is a statements edition of the podcast here today. No way. Is my button bar? Every Monday morning, got to reboot this thing.
What's going on there?
Amateur move by Macadac. Hold on a second. We will not move forward until we get this.
Are you rebooting it?
I just have to close it.
Like
as they did in Skyscraper, I just have to turn it off and on real quick.
I just rebooted it.
I turned it off and turned it on again. It was a great callback, actually, for an otherwise fairly mediocre movie.
Wow.
Here we go.
Still down on it.
There it is.
There we go.
Such a rock fan. So disappointed.
Well, he needs a catchphrase. As well.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying that I thought that you would find a way, because of your love for The Rock,
to give it a 10.
to be like a 9 or 10. Yes, I actually did.
Maybe I'll watch it again and go up from my 6 or 6.5. I guess we'll see. So, all right, it's a Statements Monday here on Minnesota Sports with Mackey and Judd. You're home for daily Minnesota sports entertainment, speculation, and therapy. And gentlemen, I'd love to start us off with the first statement here, which is very simply Naz Reid.
Yeah.
Naz Reid. Naz MF'n Reid. He's back. He is. You know what's funny? If you ranked Timberwolves players in history based on how much the fans love and connect with them, KG is clearly number one, right?
Right.
Ricky Rubio is pretty high on that list. People love Ricky Rubio.
Love Ricky.
Mm-hmm.
Is Naz Reid one of the top 6 or 7, top 5? In terms, like, people love Naz Reid, right? They're bringing back I would say an all-time fan favorite, which I get it's the Timberwolves list, so it's not exactly.
That's an interesting list, though. That's a good one. I'm trying to think back.
Wally? People loved Wally, didn't they? I know KG didn't love
KG
Wally.
didn't.
I know KG hated him.
People liked Wally, but I don't.
Not like loved him.
I don't remember him being.
You know what Naz is? He's for sure in the top 6 or 7, if not like 5. But here's the thing now: how high will he go? Because this move is going to endear him way more.
It's almost like signing a really good backup quarterback to an interesting contract, right?
Ooh, yeah.
I was once a kid I was courtside. This was the 03-04 year where the Wolves won like 50 games, were the 1 seed, and it was towards the end of the game, and we were like 2 rows behind the Wolves bench, and like a drunk woman just comes out runs on the court to try to give Wally Zerbiak a humongous hug. And luckily, like, Wally played along with it, and they weren't going to tackle this woman, obviously.
Is that how he got plantar fasciitis? He moved.
Yeah, it might have been.
Quickly.
But I remember a very young Declan was sitting next to Marnie Gellner, who probably was like early on in her days at Fox Sports North or whatever it would have been. I think it would have been Fox Sports North still back then. Mm-hmm. And my parents teased me for days for getting to talk to Marnie Gellner as a young little 10-year-old, thinking that I had this biggest crush on Marnie Gellner, because she said, "Did you see that woman run across the court to go give Wally a hug?" But I always think about that when I think Wally now, is Marnie Gellner and that woman running onto a court to give him a big drunken hug.
Wally's a big media mogul now.
Yeah.
But so this contract, it's a 3-year contract, but the 3rd year is a player option. So this worked out really well for all sides here. So it's a $14 million a year contract, and people might be wondering, well, why wouldn't he just wait like another 5 days and hit free agency? He could have explored these markets. Well, because even though tampering's not allowed, I'm sure the agent has had all these conversations. So the mid-level exception, I'm going to get in the weeds here a little bit. The mid-level exception this year is like $12.5 million. And so that's a really common slot that teams can use to bring in a veteran player. If you're over the cap, you can still spend money using the mid-level exception. So my guess is there was probably a pretty healthy mid-level exception market for him. And then there's a handful of teams like the Spurs and some other teams that have more cap space and maybe more playing time. So the conversation with the Wolves and the agent and Naz Reid was probably pretty simple. Hey, if you can only offer a mid-level exception type money, then we have to hit the market, because we'd be stupid not to. If you can go above mid-level exception money into the $13, $14, $15 million range, okay, my client, he's working out in the gym right now. Like, he wants to be here. He loves it here. So kudos to the Wolves for stepping up their offer here. How do they carve out 25, 30 minutes a night for a guy that averaged 18 last year while still putting Gobert and Towns on the court? I don't know. What does this mean for Gobert or Towns in the short and long term? I don't know. Is this an Alex Madison situation where they told him, hey, why don't you sign and we'll figure out the rest later with the guy that's currently starting over you? There's a lot of questions here, but the biggest headline is they just retained a 23-year-old busts his ass type player. I think we talk about like what is Wolves culture, right? Sort of tongue in cheek. What is Heat culture, and how can you be more like the Miami Heat? Maybe Naz Reid can be like the Udonis Haslem, the young, versatile, scrappy, undrafted big man that kind of rises up with the young nucleus here. That would be best case scenario. So this is great news, even though it opens up a lot of questions going forward.
The third year being a player option is very intriguing to me because it gives him an out if what he thinks or what he's been told, who knows, is going to transpire does not happen, right?
Yep.
So, like, that's the most intriguing thing is, are they saying Gobert's sort of breaking down and, like, we don't even know what's going to take place there? Or, you know what? We might not be able to afford in a year to keep Cat. So I think it's definitely a good move by the Naz Reid camp, but I think it's also very telling that third year is not a team option. It's not set in stone. It allows Naz to leave if what you just said, Phil, is true, which is the playing time is not sufficient to what he expects. I also think, and again, God bless this league because they know how to work things. The other thing, without a question, was the surprise rise in the cap and luxury tax played a huge role here. Last week's news, because the thought process was that the cap was going to go up, but not as much as it did. And by going up to a point where the Wolves could accept it, I think that plays an enormous role. So the league, again, a league that ordinarily gets a lot of things right, does. And this is a definite win if you're the Timberwolves and Naz Reid.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give my next Naz Reid statement here. Keep this train moving. My statement is, what was Naz Reid told? That's what I want to know.
Dex wants to go down this path.
What was Naz Reid told here? So now we have like $240 million committed to the center position. The Timberwolves do between Gobert, Towns, and Naz Reid. They have a ton of money.
Way
there.
more than, like, in terms of bulk contract, it's way more than that because Katz is worth like $250 alone. I think annual it's 90 committed.
Yes.
But then, like, total value of contracts, it's like over $500 million between the three big men.
So Naz has come off the bench a ton for the majority of his career. And if you extrapolate his minutes to per 36 minutes, he actually averages a ton. Now, I don't think it's safe to just assume, hey, take Naz Reid as the bench role. You put him in 36, and he'll obviously average 22.5 points a game and 10 rebounds. I don't think that it's as easy as that. But Naz Reid has been an incredibly effective player when coming off the bench. To Phil's point, he has weirdly enough kind of been beloved by this organization. He didn't want to go out and test the market. He wanted to re-sign here. They gave him a big deal. He was undrafted. It's a great story. But I want to know, what was Naz Reid told? I think the Alex Madison thing also kind of plays into this factor too of, why didn't that guy just go out and get a bigger contract possibly from somewhere else? Why is that? So
or
I
even
would love
test
to know.
out, like Madison barely even tested the market, right? He just re-signed. Why wouldn't you go?
Well, yeah, because he was
test the
definitely
market?
told, hey, don't worry, we're not bringing Dalvin back.
Yeah. So here's a little more insight, by the way, from Johnny K from The Athletic this morning on sort of how this deal got done. And we really won't know. My gut says they're not trading Cat or Gobert this summer. That they really do. Now that they have Naz back in the fold, they've got some other things they could do. You could probably swap out Taurean Prince's non-guaranteed $7-8 million for like a backup point guard. There's some little things you can do here, but here's what Johnny K said about how the deal got done. As contract talks picked up post-draft, sources familiar with the process told The Athletic the Wolves and Naz Reid were still millions of dollars apart after the draft. So this is like a few days ago, right?
Yep.
Then a call came in over the weekend from the top of the organization. Get it done, Glenn Taylor instructed his front office. Taylor and his partners, Mark Laurie and Alex Rodriguez, did not want Reid to get to free agency, where several teams were waiting and could offer the 23-year-old more money or more playing time and a bigger role. The three of them consulted with Tim Connolly and Chris Finch, and came to the conclusion that they couldn't let a player of Reid's work ethic, skill level, and desire to remain in Minnesota leave. The player option in that third year allows him the ability to become a free agent in just 2 years, giving him another opportunity for a big contract before he turns 26. That was clearly enough to ease any concerns about his role with Towns and Gobert on the roster ahead of him. But like, Naz Reid is the type of guy that you want to build your culture around. He can do a little bit. He lost 30 pounds 4 years ago to be more nimble, to make the team. He adds something to his game every year, becomes a better shooter, a better dribble driver, right? Like, he's kind of positionless in a lot of ways. He can play the 5, he can play the 4. Teammates love him. He's loyal. He really is the type of guy that you don't want to walk for nothing. And his age, 23, fits right in line with Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels. So how can you get him 25 to 30 a night? That's the question.
It's a good deal for both sides. The other thing, though, because it's essentially a 2-year contract, the other thing that the Wolves probably pointed out to Naz, and that Naz knows, is this. Gobert is 31, played in 70 games last year, which is not terrible, but he is an aging player who did miss some time. Cat has not played in all 82 games since the 2017-18 season, and I think it was in like 25 or 26 regular season games last year. So there's a very good chance, like, assuming health in sports is so difficult. So if nothing else, this gives Naz a chance for 2 years to probably substitute for one of those two guys fairly consistently, because I'm not sure that either one is going to be healthy for the next 2 years.
Yep. It's a good thing. Stockpile assets and sort of figure the rest out later. But all right, over to Judd here.
My statement's very simple. Do your job, Rudy Gobert. Do your job. Last time I checked, the French national team does not pay your salary. Yet after teasing us and saying that you were considering not playing in the World Cup, in the Basketball World Cup, you have now decided for the second consecutive year, despite the fact that you showed up to training camp unprepared for the season and injured last year, you've decided to play in a highly competitive international competition this summer instead of focusing on the Timberwolves and your primary job, the team that pays you, okay? You are 31. I don't love Ant playing for the U.S. team, but I think ultimately it's good experience.
It's great experience for Ant.
And he's a young man, so I get it. I get it. I'll buy into that. But a 31-year-old playing for the French national team again and doing it at the peril of his day job on a team that he flat out, no question about it, no argument, disappointed in part because he pulled this stunt last year. If I'm the Wolves, I am absolutely livid. Rudy had sort of teased, hey, I think I might, work on what? Oh, my God, my primary job, which is, I'm not saying don't stay in shape. I'm not saying don't play basketball. I am saying don't play in what's probably the equivalent of playoff-type basketball games where you have to go all out and then have to show up shortly thereafter for training camp. This is ridiculous. If I'm Tim Connelly, I call Gobert today and say, I have one question. Why do you hate me so much? What did I ever do to you? I pay you. I traded for you.
I stuck my neck out for you, guy.
I've done everything for you, and yet you are going to serve your country again on a team that, let me repeat this, doesn't pay your salary. I think this is ridiculous.
It's not even I wish I could sit here and spar with you on this, because the Anthony Edwards thing, there's all sorts of evidence historically that a young, early 20s emerging star benefits so much by being around the best players and the best, although these aren't the best players. This is World Cup rosters, but good players and great coaches and Steve Kerrs and stuff. When you're a 31-year-old, 7-footer, by the way, with some fading knees and you only have so many steps left in your NBA career, I can't spar with you on this one. This is just ridiculous. Like, dude,
it's so selfish.
You already came in here. You underachieved. Your numbers were down. You were sluggish off the start because of Eurobasket last year. It's not even the Olympics.
Right.
It's the Eurobasket last year and the World Cup this year.
Yes.
Like, what? And it's who?
Well,
If it was the Olympics, I would even have a problem with it because of all the things you just stated. Like, dude, you're making $50 million a year. You underachieved in your first year with the Timberwolves, and then you hinted multiple times that you were going to devote all of your attention to resting and preparing to have a monster Timberwolves NBA season.
yep.
So I don't see any way that this benefits the Timberwolves. I don't see any way that it doesn't just like decrease his level of energy and health for the season. So I want to fight you on this, but I can't. I 100% agree with Judd on this.
It is absolutely selfish, self-serving. I would have it in guys' contracts they can't pull this crap. Like veterans at least, right?
They have too much leverage in the NBA.
Well, good. Then he can leave. Then you're forfeiting your contract, you moron. But
no, he's not though.
No, I know he won't. But anyway, so here's something to.
Except for the fact that he's not at all whatsoever. But
I don't doubt what you read from Johnny K's story about the whole Naz thing. But I wonder if the one untold thing was because he didn't just pop this on the Wolves this morning, right? Like Gobert probably told him Friday or Thursday, I'm going to play. I wonder if that was part of get this done.
Okay,
Because if I'm the Wolves,
someone tweeted into the show here. Gobert makes his World Cup announcement the day after Naz Reid signs. Yeah. Coincidence? And then they tagged Doogie here as well. And Doogie said, no coincidence. Wolves wish he wasn't. But the pull of playing for his country is too strong. Training camp is fast approaching. So this was always around the time frame of a decision. So he's not doing it like to lash out. This was the time. And by the way, I think the team made the announcement. It wasn't like Gobert came out and was like, just to spite Naz Reid. But dude, what do you? He cares more about France and the World Cup than he does the Timberwolves. Is that a hot take?
No, he's proven it twice now. He's proven it twice, and the evidence. Like I expressed concern about this last July. Okay. And I was told, oh, calm down, it's fine. And then guess what? He showed up for training camp injured. And he talked about the fact it impacted him. So, there's no question. But what I'm saying is, I wonder if Gobert told the team, informed the Wolves on Thursday or Friday, and that played a role in them getting Naz done. Because I'm sure as hell working on the theory that Gobert, under the G in a statistical line, ain't going to come close to 82.
Yeah. Okay, he's so I see what's happening here. He feels like in 2019, France won the bronze in the World Cup, and then in 2020, France won the silver in the Olympics. So he feels like I think he played on both those teams. I don't know. I don't have the rosters in front of me, but he probably feels like they're close to a gold, and it would help complete his.
Then go pursue that for your career, dude.
His career.
Make that your career. Make summer basketball your career and take the winters off then. Stop stealing our money.
Do they get, dumb question, do they get paid to play?
They probably get a stipend or something, but I don't even know. And I don't really care. All I care about is that this guy has proven to be so selfish, self-centered, and it's just maddening. Because the Wolves are going to be pissed, and they should be.
The only reason I ever would want to be in the Olympics, or if I had the athletic ability to do it, I'm not saying I can just sign up and be in the Olympics. But if I could, I love
how Declan's the one rejecting this potential opportunity
It's on the wall.
Here. Yeah.
Declan, alpine skiing.
We'll see if I have enough time in my busy
snowboard
schedule.
cross. I'll see if I can get the snowboard cross. I'll see if I can do that.
Yeah, X Games.
But I had a guy from my high school got bronze in rowing in the Beijing Olympics in 2008, and he came back and he showed us his bronze medal. It was really cool. And we asked him what was the craziest part about the Olympics, and he said, honestly, the amount of swag and clothing I got from being in the Olympics is absurd. You just get so many jumpsuits and apparel and polos and hats and
Rudy
all
does love
stuff.
Jumpsuits. Maybe that's what it is. If you want those France those FIBA World Cup jumpsuits, you got to come. You got to.
Conley will buy him a couple online, okay, and have them shipped here for Rudy.
That's the compromise. Hey, listen, how many jumpsuits is it going to take?
5?
Is it 5? Is it 20? You name a number of jumpsuits, and we can make it happen. Chris Finch probably not happy about this, but Finch Home Solutions is happy to help you with things around your house.
That's very well put, Phil. In fact, this truck that you're about to see now, that's going to show up right outside your house, and that is when you know that any electrical work, any electrical issues in your house are going to, or outside your house, are going to be taken care of. Installation, repair, outdoor lighting projects, car chargers, big or small. Finch can do it all. They, in fact, came to my house a couple of months ago, a few months back, actually, and fixed some lights in my basement that were on the fritz. They were fast, they were courteous, and they did outstanding work. Cody and his team are the people to contact if you need, again, any electrical work done in or around your home. FinchHomeSolutions.com, or you can call them, 612-357-2604. FinchHomeSolutions.com. It's the answer to any electrical issues you have.
All right, statements here. Another round here. Does anybody else find it crazy after the weekend, the Swiftie weekend, that Taylor Swift is apparently this generation's Beatles, Michael Jackson? Like, I knew, maybe I'm just an idiot here. And Declan, you're probably you're like the closest to a Swiftie of any of us here on the show here.
You can call me a Swiftie, it's fine. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
But and I knew she was huge. I knew she was one of the 5 biggest stars of right now. I didn't realize the magnitude of it until she was in town for 2 days. Am I just living under a rock? There was a video clip. I didn't wind up getting over there. You guys didn't either. I'm assuming Judd probably didn't make it in for either.
Our boss did. Our boss did. He was having a good time on Friday. Dan Seaman was.
Dan and I were pre-gaming.
Yeah, Declan wasn't. He was busy, unavailable, so he had to turn you guys down.
Yeah.
So Dan texts me and he's like, he was trying to sniff out if there was parking in our underground garage. I'm like, no,
that's not an option.
Those five first come first serve spots were taken a month
Bill
ago.
Moved his car out. He's like, of course you can park in my spot.
I should have sold mine for $500. But I said, no, I mean, there's meters and stuff, and he knows I live in the area, so he sends me a text, and sometimes we'll text each other, and you wind up just are you in the area, yes or no, and you don't wind up connecting, whatever. And he says, are you drinking anywhere before Swift, even though we're not going to Swift? I said, yeah, we're actually drinking at my place. And I see him walk by my window, outside, and I invited him in, so he...
Oh, you didn't go to a bar? You actually just... That's awesome.
Invite him over. Yeah, it was kind of fun. So, anyways, I just the video. This is what I said. The video that was circulating on social. So she has a song called "Dear John."
Oh God,
it was 15 years ago about John Mayer.
Last night, yeah,
great album,
dude. The pop. So she does this big 5-minute preamble and stuff, and she's
don't pick on John Mayer is what she said.
Yep, it's 15 years later. I'm going to release this again, but don't pick on him, and I'm going to play it right now. And the pop, it was like a Minneapolis Miracle.
Yeah.
Or like a Brett Favre to Greg Lewis level pop inside U.S. Bank Stadium. I don't know. Maybe
and couple things for that. So she does the last 2 songs. So her encore songs are 2 surprise songs. Okay, so Dear John was one of those songs. And because Speak Now, Taylor's version is coming out, I think, next week, a couple weeks, she isn't playing a lot of the Speak Nows on this leg of the tour. So I believe she's only playing, and my resident Swiftie, my fiance, who saw her in Nashville last month, at one of these tours. She only plays Enchanted, which is also off of Speak Now. So she doesn't want to play Speak Now until it's released, and then she can play a lot of them on the legs of her tour. And Dear John is a great one. She hasn't played it yet, and yes, the John Mayer factor played involved. So I completely understand. That pop, 100% validated. 100% validated.
Man. So incredible.
So I decided to do some research this weekend on the Taylor's version of things, because it didn't make sense to me how she could re-record songs that were owned by somebody else. And I found out this is one of the most interesting stories I've ever read. So because she wrote her own songs, she owns her songs. What she didn't own was the original recordings.
Correct.
Her former manager bought a bunch of her recordings.
Scooter Braun.
Pissed her off.
Yeah.
But the moron didn't realize or didn't take into account that she had the rights to the song still.
Yeah.
This is one of the worst.
Maybe you think
it's so
she's not going to go through the trouble of re-recording, 100 songs or whatever it is, but that's pretty much what she's doing, right?
I didn't even realize that was possible, though. It was so intriguing to read about from a business standpoint.
Yeah, the whole thing is kind of a mess. So is it true then that if you want to support her, then you'd want to download or
Taylor's
buy the
versions.
songs that
Her
are
ver-
in, 'cause
only
it
her
says in
versions.
parentheses Taylor's version.
So anything that says that
Yep.
you would buy to support her, and so she controls all of the financial gain from that stuff.
By the way, at Trey and Dior, we listened to This Is Taylor Swift playlist on Spotify coming home from the cabin yesterday. And you can hear the difference between the studio produced and Taylor's version songs produced.
Are they
There's a couple.
crappier? Which one's
Oh,
better?
you can just
More raw?
tell the vocals are a little bit more. It's not as studio. It's not as produced.
It
It's not
sounds
as
like she's got the
processed.
wrong mic on her Zoom call or something.
Actually, that's better though. Like,
It's like when
I
Judd
don't like
forgets to
produced.
select his USB mic.
Yeah, what do you? I don't know what you're talking about. Interesting though, but yeah, that's that whole story, and she is. I will say this, like it's impressive. Like
It
it's
is,
not
dude.
like
It's
when
nuts.
Tiffany was playing Malls, right, in 1985 or something, and that's fine. But like she is an artist. It's really pretty cool.
It's awesome.
So
Yeah, she's
full
man,
credit to
it's
her.
Legendary status. All right,
I'm a
back over
Swiftie.
to Declan here, the resident
All right.
Swiftie Declan.
Yeah, I mean, just last thing on Taylor Swift before I give another statement here. I regret not going. I now regret not going. I wish I
It
would
would've
have
been
went.
cool.
I really do wish
Not
I
me,
would have
but-
went. This
Dude,
is now
the-
the second concert at US Bank Stadium in the last month that I didn't go to. I didn't go to Luke Combs when he was here too about a month ago. And I regret that now. I really do regret it.
But what was the we were monitoring the secondary market because we were kind of like we're not Swifties, but we love a good spectacle, a good event.
For sure.
The lowest I saw at any point from like Thursday all the way through showtime, the lowest I saw on the secondary market for obstructed view tickets was like $500 or $600 before
Yeah.
fees
Yeah.
to get in the door.
Yeah, that's what I saw too. And we both said we'll pay combined 600. Like we'll pay 300 a pop. We even decided that. We're like, if it gets down to 3
Yeah.
for in each ticket, we'll probably do it. Let's pull the trigger. Let's do it. We'll just, not have any more fun this summer. But I do regret not going. That is a partial statement to wrap
You know what
up.
though?
Yeah,
You'll
so-
be able to. She'll do another one at some point, and then I
Yeah.
guarantee you, within 10 years, you'll be able to go to like the MGM Park MGM in Vegas or something.
Oh, yeah.
And she'll do a residency, but those tickets will also cost like $500 or
Oh
$600.
God, can you
So-
imagine?
Yeah. All right, so
Interesting.
quickly, my statement here is this, and Phil's gonna, I think, love this. I am obsessed with the Immaculate Grid. Judd, have you heard
Judd,
of the
have you done
Immaculate
this?
Grid?
No.
Wait, 'cause it's full screen.
Is this the one for today? Can we do this
Yes.
together?
I've done this already, Phil, but I want you and Judd to do it. So
Oh, can we
Judd,
do
this
it right
is-
now? We'll
Yes.
explain this for the audio audience too.
All right,
Yeah, explain to
so,
me.
Judd, you'll see it's a tic-tac-toe square, right? There's 9 squares here, and you see Dodgers, White Sox on the left and right. You got to match a player in that respective category. So, for example, with the Sox, you'd have to match Sox with the Dodger, a Sox with the Yankees, and a Hall of Famer who played for the Sox. From
Oh,
left to
okay.
right. Does that make
Let's-
sense?
And then the
Let's
Brewers
start-
the same thing.
So let's start. Let's go. Paul Molitor. Well, does it have to be like is Paul Molitor? Can we count him for Brewers
Yes.
Hall
you
of
can.
Fame.
Hall of Famer?
Absolutely.
Right?
Hall of
Okay.
And
Yep.
by the way, Judd, you can't get any wrong. Otherwise, you can't complete the grid.
Oh,
You can't do
okay.
it. It can't be immaculate unless you. And we shouldn't cheat. I'm sure a lot of people cheat, but we shouldn't cheat.
Gotcha. Yep.
Okay. So
Paul
there's Molly.
Molitor.
What
Yep.
percentage of people said Molly?
19% said Molly.
Okay.
'Cause
How about a
Young would've
White
been-
Sox Hall of Famer? Should we go Frank Thomas?
Yeah,
Is
let's
he
just go-
in?
yep.
Or Harold
Yeah.
Baines? Let's flex Harold Baines.
Oh,
Or no,
okay.
wait, no, he might be a Yankee.
Oh,
Was he
what
a
is it?
Yankee at one point?
A's.
Okay. We could
Do you
go.
want to guess?
Frank Thomas is
fine.
a Hall of Famer, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Lifelong White Sox, right? So he's fine.
Frank Thomas. 69%. Nice. For
And then
Frank
a
Thomas
Hall
and
of
White
Famer with 3,000 career strikeouts. We just go Nolan Ryan for that.
Sox. Nolan
right?
Ryan.
Blyleven would have been acceptable there too, I think.
All right.
Yeah,
55%.
I'd rather go
correct.
with-
All right. We're good. We're immaculate so far.
Now we need
A Dodger
any
who
number
played
of
for the
these.
White Sox.
A
Yep.
Dodger and a White Sox.
Oh, and then
This is where it gets tough, man.
Yeah,
Like-
sure it does. Yeah. No,
okay,
off the
for,
top of your head.
for Dodger Brewer, we need a Dodger who was a Brewer, Eric Gagne.
Ooh, great one.
G-A-G-N.
Nice call.
Great call. Yep. 7%. Good one.
Okay,
Let's
so
go
now-
Dodger. How about a Dodger White Sox? There's got to be some pitchers out there like
I had a great poll for Sox Yankees earlier.
Sox Yankees. It's funny. There's probably 100 of these guys, but
right. Yeah, off the top of your head.
Tim Raines, right? Tim Raines is Yankees and White Sox. Let's go Tim Raines.
Tim Rain.
This is sort of fun. I've never seen
It's
this
great.
before.
It's a great game. Yeah, 2%. Look at that.
Only
Good one.
2%.
Only
Wow.
2%.
Wow, there got to be.
One of the greats.
So Yankees,
Yep, you need a Yankee and a
Brewers?
Sox and a Brewer and a Yankee.
Okay.
If you can think back to like 70s, 80s, and I can think 90s here too.
Okay. Dodgers
Yankees
and
and
White Sox.
Brewers. Yankees and Brewers. CC Sabathia played for the Yankees and Brewers.
There you go. I go CC.
Let's go CC Sabathia. Old Macadac's
Sabathia.
on a roll right now.
Yeah, you're doing good.
46%.
CC.
Pretty good.
Dodgers Sock, you got one in mind there? I actually, I had to.
Can I? This is a
Konerko?
really deep.
Phil, did Paul Konerko play for both? Because he was definitely a White Sox. He
He
was
may
a
have.
Dodger originally, right?
You know who did,
Or was
though?
he a Red? Who's that?
Clay Thompson's brother.
Trace Thompson.
Trace Thompson, right? Let's flex Trace Thompson. Let's
5%.
go. So now we need a 3,000. Is this a Dodger with a Dodger who struck out 3,000 or
Yes.
a 3,000 careers who
Pitcher.
played for the Dodgers?
Pitcher who struck out 3,000 batters who at one point played for the Dodgers.
Okay,
Oh, God,
doesn't
there's a-
have to have been all 3,000 strikeouts with the Dodgers. Could have just
That
been.
is correct. Yep.
So Judd, where's the 3,000 strikeout line? Like, is it like Nolan
is-
Ryan was like 5,000?
Right.
Lyle Evans was like 4,000.
Yeah, who played for a long time?
Is
Like
Kershaw?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Would like Drysdale have been one? I don't even know who's at 3,000. That's my problem.
I'll say this.
Yeah.
I did this. I thought Drysdale was a lock. He was not.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh wow, it might have saved us right there.
Yeah.
It's an exclusive list.
Right.
Yankees
That's the
should
thing
be
is,
easy. Roger, let's do Roger Clemens
Clemens?
for the Yankees. That's an easy one.
Roger Clemens. All right.
Okay, we need one more.
61%.
Wow, for an immaculate.
okay. So there's a
grid
ton
here.
ton of great Dodger pitchers,
I know.
but who was
But we need longevity though.
longevity and a flamethrower.
I don't think Sandy pitched long enough.
No, I
don't
think you're
think so
right
either.
about that. I think you're right about that. I'm trying to think of guys that came up and spent a long
Where's
time
Patrick Royce?
with the Dodgers, like a Hershiser, but I don't think he's at 3,000. He's a really good pitcher, but I don't think he's there.
Hershiser for his career didn't get to 3,000.
I don't think so. I don't know for sure. Like
I think,
as you said, it's just a really
Kershaw,
exclusive list.
So Kershaw, I don't
Is
know. Maybe
Kershaw
not,
at
dude.
3,000?
He's injured all the time.
Who's a slappy who spent a
Yeah.
long time with another team and
Right.
ended up with the Dodgers, Phil? That would be my question.
Johnson never paid for the Dodgers for Andy
No,
Johnson.
no.
Like
did
a guy who
Houston,
shoved.
yeah.
Like did
Yeah.
Kurt Schilling ever pitch for the Dodgers?
No.
Oh, how about Pedro Martinez?
Oh.
Oh, now
Did he swing
that's
through LA?
Wait, did he play for the Dodgers though?
yeah.
He did?
Yeah, he started with the Dodgers. He went Dodgers, Expos,
Yes.
Red Sox.
Pedro? All right.
Let's go.
Yes.
Come on. One time.
Let's see here.
Immaculate
All
Grid.
right, let's see here.
Do you got it?
Let's see.
Do we got it?
You got it!
Awesome work, Phil.
Wow, dude.
Awesome. Good job, Phil. This is fun.
This needs to be a weekly.
Should we do it on
need to-
Mondays?
or every day. Should we do it every day?
I don't know if we can do it every day.
Nah, I wouldn't do it every
Does
day.
John Boy do this?
Well, they
I've never
have
seen this
started
before.
tweeting this out a little bit. They used to do screenshots, kind of like we do with random Vikings, but they'll just give and baseball's so, like
Dude, that's
nuts
great.
where you can just put up a box score or a career page on Baseball Reference and you'll have no idea who it is.
Yeah,
But
I've seen
this,
that.
I don't know if they started Immaculate Grid, but they are tweeting out Immaculate Grid stuff.
They do have it for other sports too.
They do.
Oh,
You
God,
found it?
football would be
There's,
fun.
I think there's a football one we should do.
Nice.
We should do it on.
Actually, we could
Purple
do
Daily.
the football one. Exactly, Purple Daily.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll talk
It's
offline
on.
here, boys. But that was
It's
good.
on.
Good one, Dex. That's awesome.
Amazing.
Nice work,
And Dex has a hack, by the way, that you can use Edwin Jackson as a cheat code because he pitched for 14 different teams. So
When in doubt,
Edwin
Edwin
Jackson. Yeah.
yep, dead serious.
Bobby Bonds.
You have like a 25% chance of getting it right.
Bobby Bonds played for like 12 teams.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing. Pat Neshek was another one too. All right. That's a wrap here.
was
Minnesota
fun.
Sports with Mackey and Judd. We just found a new segment there.
Made my
Good times.
Monday.